Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, shockingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. This is live stream 967. If you're not overly familiar with this show, let me point out, we're super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And we'll normally take a peek at a fresh tabletop game. Every once in a while, I'll actually do a live review. But of course, we are certainly not engaging in rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Now, tonight, I will be taking a first look at the third edition of Healthy Heart Hospital from Sparkworks Games and Tabletop Tycoon. And we will be taking a peek at this in just a bit. Should point out, if you are tuning in because you want to check out the live first look, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first around here. So it'll probably be about 35-40 minutes before we get into that first look. So if you're watching live, just kick back, relax, put your feet up, enjoy yourself. Now, if you happen to watch this 30 minutes or so after the show ends, there will be timestamps. So if you're an impatient type, just has to get to that first look, you'll be able to jump past the tabletop gaming news of the day. Although you shouldn't, because we actually have some cool stuff today to talk about. We have cool stuff every show to talk about. Now, of course, depending on the device you might be watching this on, those show notes could be, I shouldn't say show notes, those timestamps should be right there in front of you in the timeline of the video. If they are not, then those timestamps can be found in the show notes of the show. Show notes of the show? Show notes of the episode, I guess I will say. See, as soon as I said show notes, I was like, wait, what? Hang on. Where am I going with this? What? I know. Sometimes people think, yeah, you should have a script, Jeff. And it's like, oh, gosh, no, you don't want to hear me reading from a script. You get enough of that when I'm reading the tabletop gaming news. So when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, let me point out you should be visiting thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live show, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you happen to be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours, you can take part in chat. So if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, maybe there's something about Healthy Heart Hospital you want a closer look at, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Kevin King. Marius Smith is with us, as is Kathy Evans and the Motor City Madman. Yes, our first chat moderator, the Madman, is with us. And I would think we've probably got our second chat moderator, although I shouldn't number them. I'm just numbering them as they appear, right? Mentioned in order of appearance. Yeah, Sarah D is probably hanging out with us as well. Shaz is with us too, chiming in chat. Good to see you. So, strangely enough, another weird kind of, well, it's not real hot outside. It was like 80 today in the Chicago area. But once again, it's just oddly clammy down here in the duct tape studios. It's humid. I don't get why. It wasn't humid upstairs. So, don't know. Yeah, Sarah D is with us. Sarah D says, not the first time I've been called a number 2. Yikes. Roger Perdome is also in chat with us. So howdy, everybody. Welcome aboard. Let's jump on into the news because next month is going to see the release of Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory from Hegemonic Project Games. Company I have not heard of before, but here's what I know. Hegemony is an asymmetric politico-economic card-driven board game, say that 5 times fast, for 2 to 4 players that puts you in the role of one of the socio-economic groups in a fictional state. The working class, the middle class, the capitalist class, and the state itself. The working class controls, yeah, you guessed it, the workers. The capitalist class controls the companies. The middle class, well, they don't exist anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Combines elements from both the working class and the capitalist class. It has workers that can work in the capitalist companies, but it can also build companies on its own, yet smaller. Well, that's how it used to be. Finally, the state is trying to keep everybody happy, providing benefits and subsidies when needed, but also trying to maintain a steady income through taxes to avoid going into debt. While players have their own separate goals, they are all limited by a series of policies that affect most of their actions, like taxation, labor market, foreign trade, and more. Voting on those policies and using their influence to change them is also very important. Through careful planning, strategic actions, and political maneuvering, you will do your best to increase the power of your class and carry out your agenda. Will you be the one to lead your class to victory? Hegemony is heavily based on actual academic principles such as social democracy, neoliberalism, nationalism, and globalism, and allows players to see their real-world applications through engaging gameplay. There are many ways to achieve hegemony. Which one will you take? Hegemony is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in around 90 to 180 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $94.99 when it lands October 20th. Well. And I should point out that there are a couple of small, well, I guess one's not so small. There are a couple of expansions that are going to be releasing at the same time. One of them is a historic events deck. I thought, well, that sounds kind of interesting. So this could either be really interesting or a snore fest. One of the two. Although I got to say, it does look rather impressive when we're taking a look at that image right there. It does have pretty solid table presence there. So once again, Hegemony landing in stores next month. Let's talk about some role-playing game news because there are a trio of major releases slated to arrive from Paizo Inc. next month. Here's the scoop. First of all, we've got Starfinder Enhanced. Enhance your Starfinder experience with this invaluable game resource, covering all aspects of the Starfinder rules. From totally revised fundamentals like core classes and starship combat, to brand new systems for expanding the way you play, this 192-page hardcover rules resource offers fresh ideas while still blending with the existing system. With Starfinder Enhanced at hand, you'll be ready for the countless challenges of infinite space. Starfinder Enhanced includes new versions of the Envoy, Solarian, Technomancer, and Witch Warper classes, all revised to make them more balanced and easier to play. New class features and character options for every Starfinder class published to date. New archetypes, spells, equipment, and over 90 new feats. Truly build the character you want. Rules for scalable equipment so you never have to trade in your trusty sidearm ever again. New subsystems for narrative starship combat, expanded creature companions, and new chances to spend resolve points for every character. There's also 12 playable species, including fan favorites and entirely new options. From the shape-shifting Kitsune to the tiny Novians born from dying suns. The 192-page Starfinder Enhanced hardcover will carry an MSRP of $44.99, or you'll be able to grab the PDF for $18.99. Then we have Pathfinder Adventure Path number 196, The Summer That Never Was. The season of Ghost Adventure Path begins, which is actually a 4-chapter adventure path. I don't know if there's been a 4-chapter adventure path before. I know we've had 3. In fact, that's kind of par for the course lately. And if we also had 6-part adventures all the time, I'm not sure if there was one that had 4 chapters. A terrible curse descends upon the town of Willowshore, located in haunted Shenmen, in the heart of the sprawling continent of Tianjia. This horror-themed campaign pits the heroes against supernatural threats and the harsh realities of facing an upcoming winter when all contact with the outside world has been cut off by a mysterious wall of fog. Yes, welcome to the Overlook Hotel. What fiendish menace might be behind the Willowshore curse, and can it be stopped before everyone in town is lost? The season of Ghost Adventure Path is a 4-part series of connected adventures that form a complete Pathfinder campaign for characters of 1st to 12th level. In the campaign's opening adventure, the heroes awaken disoriented and alone in a forest clearing after taking part in a traditional festival on the last day of spring. They soon discover their hometown of Willowshore has been invaded by monsters and has fallen under a sinister spell. Yet defeating the monsters is only the first step in discovering the frightening nature of a supernatural curse that has gripped the land. And as the days of a summer plagued with rain trudge on, the grim reality facing the people of Willowshore will need true heroes to confront. The Summer That Never Was is a horror-themed Pathfinder adventure for 4 first-level characters. This adventure once again begins the season of Ghost Adventure Path, a 4-part monthly campaign in which a group of adventurers fight to protect their hometown from monsters and mysterious events that have isolated them from the rest of the world. This adventure also includes a detailed look at the small town of Willowshore, a selection of new magical items to discover, and several new monsters ready to bring a dose of fear to your table. This softcover will carry an MSRP of $26.99, or you can grab just the PDF for $19.99. Then we also have Pathfinder Adventure Rusthenge. Rusthenge is a deluxe Pathfinder adventure for first-level characters. The ruins of Rusthenge have stood silent vigil over the southern coastline of Chakakoth Isle for eons, dating back to the era of the Rune Lords of ancient Thassalon. The town of Iron Harbor was built in Rusthenge's shadow, but now that new Thessalon has risen from the depths of the distant past. English, Jeff, use it. The old ruins are coming under unexpected scrutiny. Something sinister is afoot in Rusthenge, and it falls to a brand new band of adventurers to learn the truth of the ancient evil that stirs deep within its long abandoned halls. This adventure also includes new items and character backgrounds, as well as a pair of new monsters tied to the region's notorious history. This softcover will also carry an MSRP of $24.99, or you'll be able to grab the PDF for $19.99, and all three of these titles are slated for an October 18th release date. Kevin R. Smith says, Starfighter 1.5, we hardly knew you. Then again, I guess it'll be a couple years before Starfighter 2 actually releases. Good point. So let's see. So, of course, we've got Kevin R. Smith in chat with us. Viper Dave has arrived as well. So, yes, I was thinking the same exact thing with the Starfighter Enhanced book, knowing that the Starfighter 2.0, or second edition, the Kickstarter, I shouldn't say Kickstarter, the playtesting is going to begin for that in August. So it is slated to kick off with Gen Con, as far as I understand. At least that was the impression that I got when I talked to Aaron Shanks at this past Gen Con. So I'm kind of curious if people are going to kind of hold back on any of the Starfinder supplements, not adventure paths. I think they'll still pick those up. But I sort of have the feeling that most players will say, or I should say game masters probably, I think I'll hold off on picking up more supplemental material. Although the second edition of Starfinder is supposed to be 100% compatible, or I guess I should say, what's out now for Starfinder is supposed to be 100% compatible, probably 95% compatible, really, with the second edition that's going to be on the horizon. So I'm kind of curious about that. And it seems as if this first chapter of the Season of Ghosts adventure path has a bit of an Asian horror flavor to it. Yes. Speaking of spooky things, heading on into stores this month from Hit Point Press is the Hecna box set for 5e D&D. Here's the skinny. Welcome to the carnival, where we are always smiling. The sounds of revelry drift through the dark, cold forest, drawing wayward travelers to a place where the senses are delightfully and bewilderingly overwhelmed. Peering out from the top of the conifers is the blood-red spire of the Revelia, where wonder and fun awaits. But underneath the sparkling lights and gleaming facade is a sinister underbelly of chaos and terror. The magical Revelia is the work of Hecna, a creative mastermind masquerading as a jovial ringleader. Some, however, are aware of Hecna's ruse, including a hunter who will stop at nothing to dispatch Hecna and destroy the Revelia once and for all. Travelers may believe that they find the Revelia by chance, but in fact, Hecna goes to great lengths to lure only the best and brightest to his carnival in search for greater, more spectacular challenges. Many have tried and failed to escape from this carnival, but with the right brains, brawn, and alliances, even Hecna can be outmaneuvered. Will characters see through the glitzy and glamorous charade, or fall prey to Hecna's relentless torment and become a permanent member of the Revelia? Hecna is a 5e adventure story designed to take characters through levels 1 to 10. Game masters and players alike will delight in this whimsical, dark carnival setting. Will you see through the glitzy and glamorous charade or fall prey to Heckna's torment? This box set contains everything you need to get right into the carnival mischief, including the hardcover campaign book, which I believe clocks in at around 200 pages. Reference cards, a playing card deck, a fold-out world map of the Revelia, cardboard punch-out standees with over 20 standee bases, reference cards, as well as a Heckna poster. Yes, so you can put that crazy-looking clown bastard up on your wall. Keep all the little kids at bay. The box set, which contains that hardcover campaign book and more, is arriving in stores this month. Carries an MSRP of $99.99. The PDF is out. You can grab that from Hit Point Press for $29.99. There was no word if you got the PDF with the box set. Just wanted to let you know that. I know this was a very successful Kickstarter, and I have to say I've seen some of the artwork. It looks pretty impressive. So I'd be curious about this. Hit Point Press does a good number of 5e supplements. They've got probably 5 or 6 that I'm aware of. So this isn't as if this is some Johnny come lately to the 5e carnival. Final news piece. Arriving in stores next week is the print edition of Household, a Saga of Fragile Peace from Two Little Mice. I've got the lowdown. The Fragile Peace is a 5-year-long period beginning with the institution of a so-called High Council and ending when the shadow of a new war appears. It was in these years, so rife with old disagreements, great revolutions, and diplomatic incidents, that household history was made. And these years are also the backdrop for all the adventures you and your friends will play through. This book will lead you through the years of the Fragile Peace, following in the footprints of 24 noteworthy littlings. I believe that's what the characters are called. The Saga of the Fragile Peace is an expansion for Household. It contains a collection of characters and adventures that weave together to create a great saga. In this book, you're going to find 24 ready-to-play characters, 6 ready-to-play adventurers, 60 adventure outlines to build your own saga, and a timeline of household history. The 200-plus page hardcover, once again, arrives in stores next week. It's going to carry an MSRP of $50, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at Drive-Thru RPG for a smashing price of $10. Now, it is indicated that it's a sale price, but it's indicated the same way we see most of the pricing on Drive-Thru RPG, where a lot of times they actually show the MSRP and then a slash, and it's half of that. Not the case. Not the case. So $10. And something else I noticed is the core book in PDF for Household, which I think carries an MSRP of $60, is available right now for $12.50. Now, I am pretty sure we have some folks in chat, or some folks who normally hang out in chat, who did back this Kickstarter, who have received Household. In fact, I think Testy Trekkie is one, but I do not see Testy Trekkie in chat tonight. Oh, well. Oh, well. Because I'd be curious how this is. How this Household role-playing game is. Because the artwork that I have seen for this is top-notch. It is really, really well done. So I did reach out to Two Little Mice because this isn't the only role-playing game that they've got out there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to reach out, see if they might be interested in having me share coverage of Household, because this is an Italian role-playing game company, and I'm pretty tight with Acheron. So I thought, well, you know what? Let's reach out to another Italian role-playing game company and see if they might be interested. Flaming Huron is with us in chat. Good to see you. So is Quantum Phase Dragon. I don't believe I said hello to QPD. Flaming Huron says they can't say they've heard of Household. They're giving the preview of the PDF a look. Also pointed out, clowns are terror-inducing. I had a good friend of mine years ago, absolutely terrified of clowns. He'd get into a scrap in a bar with guys 3 times his size. But you better not have a movie with a clown in it. Because that was it. That was the end of that. Okie doke. So once again, this is the saga of the Fragile Piece for Household, available next week in stores and right now in PDF. So that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up. Help keep thegaminggang.com around. Agent Especial is with us. Big congratulations to Agent Especial. I believe he's getting married very soon. It's a big tip of the cap. Congratulations to you. Marius Smith says they were in a game store in Florence, tried to pick up a copy of Household, which wasn't there, but got a copy of Fabula Ultima. Italy seems to have a solid tabletop scene. I have shared some news about Fabula Ultima. It just doesn't, it's because it's anime. It's kind of built on a lot of anime tropes. Probably not my thing. So that's one of the reasons why, I mean, I'm happy to share news pieces about it. In fact, I think I've shared news pieces for both the core book and then an expansion, which recently came out. But I really don't have any interest in taking a peek at it. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, they do put out a few good releases, and if Household is anything like the others, then it'll be a banger. And Flaming Heron says, still a good system, Jeff. I assume discussing Fabula Ultima? I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Oh, so Miriam says, my copy is in Italian, so I have no clue how good it is. That is something I do not do. I do not pick up games in foreign languages, seeing that I do not speak or read any other language outside of English. And you know, I treat English like it is a second language to me. But that would be kind of interesting. I think like Dungeons and Dragons in like Japanese would be very interesting just to have just as a thing, right? Or like Tunnels and Trolls is very popular in Japan. Call of Cthulhu is also, as far as I understand, very popular in Japan. I would definitely like to see those in Japanese just to have, just to add to the collection. That's all. So Agent Especial says, yeah, I'm trapped. You're not trapped. Don't give us that nonsense. You're looking forward to it. This tain't no shotgun wedding. Steve Bernier, taking a guess at that last name, is with us in chat. Says, I should learn French. I took a year of French in high school. Despised it. Did not like it at all. And it was funny because I was like, oh, it's a romantic language. I think the only thing I remember how to say is ask for where's the airplane? C'est l'avion. It's like, yeah, okay. Agile Monk is with us in chat. We got a nice chat rocking and rolling tonight. So Agile Monk says that they've got some games that are in German. And who was it that just said? Kevin R. Smith just said that they understand that Call of Cthulhu outsells Dungeons and Dragons in Japan. Well, we've talked before that Tunnels and Trolls is very popular in Japan. And we talked about because you only needed the 6-sided dice, and it wasn't easy getting polyhedral dice, especially in the mid-1970s. Most of the time, you had to actually go to like a teacher's supply catalog to actually order them. I don't know how many people actually know that, but that's how you would get the various different polyhedral dice, was through teachers' catalogs. All righty. Sarah D says, I took 4 years of Spanish in school. It comes in handy now and then. Oh, I would think Spanish would, yes. Most definitely. All right. So tonight we are going to be diving on in and taking a first look at the 3rd edition of Healthy Heart Hospital. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission. What do you think?
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
That's $65 for a cup of Wilkins coffee?
$65?
You want me to go in there looking like a bum?
These late 1960s, early 1970s snack bar commercials, which are essentially advertisements for, say, like Coke or Sprite or Dr. Pepper, are awfully bizarre. They like to throw a live action actress into the mix. Just weird. Fleming Aaron says the ad executives doing that ad were tripping. I think everybody involved with that was tripping. I bet you if you were in the theater when that was airing and you were tripping, you'd be like, dude, I'm tripping. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. Jack Hanks is with us in chat. Good to see you, Jack. Right, so tonight we are going to take a first look at Healthy Heart Hospital. This is the third edition of the game. It is from Sparkworks Games and Tabletop Tycoon. It's designed by Scott and Anna Marie Nelson, with artwork and graphic design provided by Chelsea Audio and Sarah Mezaguer. I know, I'm sure I probably butchered those two names. The game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 45 minutes, normally carries an MSRP of $50, but right now you can actually order it from Tabletop Tycoon for $40. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Healthy Heart Hospital starring Vincent Price. So we're going to have to sit here and try to figure out who the inspiration for the various different pieces of art might happen to be. We already know Vincent Price, obviously. No getting around that. I'm taking a guess that is it Sandra Oh? I think it's Sandra Oh. She was on, what was that medical show? It's Grey's Anatomy. I was going to say that's been on for like 20 years now. I swear this looks like Linda Lavin from Alice from the 1970s. And I forget the actress's name who played Martha Jones in Doctor Who with David Tennant. Think that's who that is. This one I'm not sure about. I have no idea. But this was sort of what was kind of the thing in the first edition of Healthy Heart Hospital, which I reviewed because it came out from Victory Point Games. In fact, it was the first truly Euro-style Victory Point game title to come out. So let's take a look at the back here. The previous administration's haphazard management of Healthy Heart Hospital has left its reputation in shambles. In an effort to save face and finances, you and your colleagues have taken over. It's up to you to juggle the responsibilities of restoring its former glory. Cooperative play. Treat patients to earn money. Cubes? That's a selling point? It's got cubes, everybody! Cubes! Don't know. I do not know. Let's crack this open. So we've got the Tabletop Tycoon catalog. We've got our staff training manual, which is our rule book here. The original Healthy Heart Hospital was a pretty, I don't want to say complex game, but it had a lot of moving parts to it. And it was actually really good. I liked it quite a lot. Now, I do understand that this has been streamlined. They have removed some aspects of the game. So it looks like these are all our doctors and nurses here. So we've got our components. We've got our game board, 30 patient markers. We've got medical action tokens, administrative action tokens. Because the thing is, and I'm sure it's kind of stayed the same, is that you have to kind of juggle being able to cure these patients as well as be a profitable hospital. So Mirius asks, is that McDreamy back there? I'm sure it is. We'll take a look at the cards for the doctors and staff. Because we've got administrators, we've got staff, cards as well. It's going to show us how we are going to set this up. Of course, obviously enough, I'm sure Vincent Price is an administrator. In the original game, there was actually an administrator who they had actually used. Oh, now I can't remember the actor's name. Doc Brown, for crying out loud, from Back to the Future. In fact, I just watched a movie that wasn't very good with him in it last night. And the character he played in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they actually used that as inspiration for, thank you, Christopher Lloyd. Thanks, Kevin R. Smith. I was like, why can't I think of his name? Probably because I'm in shock from how just lame the movie was I watched last night. So anyway, they actually used him as the inspiration for an administrator who was boo, hiss, boo. In fact, if I remember right, I think they called him Dr. Lucky. So examples of healing patients. Now, I think one of the aspects from the original game that they have moved away from is the ambulance, the emergency room, because you would actually have these, because the cubes represent different like diseases and things like that, or I should say different areas of the hospital where they'll be treated. And you would have the ambulance come in and you would actually just reach into the draw bag. And yes, the game did have an element of stress involved in it because Agile Monk has pointed out, my issue with this is I play games to relax and reduce stress. This is like an air traffic controller playing a flight and ATC control simulator. So just like, I think it was 2 weeks ago? I don't think it's still the free game over on Epic Games. They had that 911 dispatch game where you could play a dispatcher in any city in the world, supposedly. So we have our patient phase. So we do have new treatment rooms that you can add, or treatment areas that you can add to the hospital. We got some variants. And it looks like this is our kind of player aid. It's our standard hospital procedure. So our medical actions, we can heal a patient. We can transfer a patient. Administrative actions, we can hire staff. We can research. We can take an administrator action. Patient phase, we have treatment. Oh, we do have an emergency room still. But I guess we probably don't have the ambulance, I guess. Add one new room, rebag, place all discarded cubes back into the bag. New patients arrive. Visit the wards, and then we have housekeeping. Nice. And it looks as if the punch board, these are cut pretty well because they just dropped right on out. They were attached to the punch board a second ago, and then I just looked at it and they fell out. So we've got the various different tokens here. And I've got the old Panasonic doing autofocus duty. So let's hope the panny is working okay. I said panny, no T in there. Mine's out of the gutter. Cool little draw bag. Healthy Heart Hospital. Ooh, welcome. Got a deck of cards. We've got our cubes. Black cubes are bad news. If I remember, if things are still the same as the original game, when you reach in and pull your patients out, if you get a black cube, you have to take 2 more patients out. So here we've got that. Got the game board. So here's our victory point tracker. This is where we add new rooms, which should be cards in here. So we've got that. And then we got various different wards here. So this is our round tracker. So it looks like we're going to have 6 rounds. We've got the office with our staff, boardroom. We have the different wards. And usually what we would have in the original game is you have a tile that you randomly select, and it'll go here, and it'll tell us what the ward's ability is. Flaming Heron says, now all I can think of is underwear for some reason. It's Panasonic. Think of Panasonic. That's all you got to do. Madman says, I'm okay with games like this. I've run a radio room tracking a dozen search and rescue cases at the same time. This is nothing. Kevin King says, a lot of healthcare workers in my family who would like this. I'll have to be sure they do not find out it exists so that I do not have to play it. Oh, come on, that's mean. I told you, I reviewed the original edition of this, and it was good. And I will point out, I was very pleasantly surprised at how good it was, because I was not expecting much. Because remember, Victory Point Games was known for war games. They did the States of Siege games. Every time they would try to do like a family game, not so hot. In fact, some of their family games were just absolute dogs. So we've got infectious disease, psychiatric ward. Well, I guess that'd be where I'd be hanging out. Internal medicine, cardiology, and trauma. Here's our waiting room, which is where we're going to load cubes up, waiting to go into the different wards. And we also have this waiting room 1 and 2. I'm just trying to remember the setup for the original game. I think the emergency room was down here. So we have our cemetery, because we will have patients who die. And we need to keep this low, because if it gets too high, there we go, Dr. Lucky. Hey, well, Dr. Lucky's still in this. We'll be seeing them in a second. Nice. Good solid card stock on this. So let's take a peek. All right, come on, autofocus. What are you doing? You know, strangely enough, this autofocus doesn't seem to handle black very well. I don't know why. But I notice it sort of loses its focus there. So here are our doctors. Here's our administrators. Here we got our research deck. Kevin R. Smith says, Dr. Lucky, I thought he was dead. I mean, so many people have killed him over the years. Yes. And I honestly think that's who it's supposed to be, even though it's absolutely different game company. Okay, so these are all research, and these are our rooms. Looks like it. Okay. Oh no, I was going to say, they're dual-sided, but are there different rooms on each side? No, they're not. They are the same on both sides. These cards do have a linen finish, just so you know. Okay, so the first thing we'll take a look at here, I'm going to move these out of the way so they don't interfere with the autofocus. Let's take a look at the doctors. So there we go. Once again, that appears to be the Linda Lavin from Alice. Martha Jones, Doctor Who. Is that supposed to be Dr.? That looks like that ass clown Dr. Oz. Not sure why he's in this, because he's not a real doctor anyway. There's the one that I wasn't sure who that was supposed to be based on, right? Do not know. That's kind of interesting. All right, so anybody out there want to like throw in guesses of who these are supposed to be? Flaming here, it says Dr. Oz, one of the greatest TV doctors. Yes, he doesn't even play a doctor on TV. There you go. Remember I had mentioned that the actress who played Bernadette, they had her as one of the doctors. There we go. And if I remember correctly, I think Sarah D said it's Melissa Rausch is the actress's name. All right. Who do you think? Who do you think? Is it Benedict? Do you think it is? I think that's Benedict Cumberbatch. I think that's who that's supposed to be. Sarah D says, correct. It's Phil Collins. No, I know it's not Phil Collins. As I mentioned before, I think that's Sandra Oh. Not a clue. I do not know. I have no idea who that is supposed to be. So that is another actress. Oh, there you go. I'm trying to remember this actor's name. I didn't really watch Full House. It just I was outside of that demographic when that show came on. But I always heard that he's a pretty good guy. So don't know. I have no idea. And of course, as you can, this is Dr. Dream. Ooh, Dr. Dream. I guess it's their take on McDreamy, huh? All right, and then Dr. Lucky. Well, that is certainly not the Dr. Lucky from the original. So that almost looks like the actor who was on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So actually, yes, Flaming Heron said NCIS. I think he's one of the cast on NCIS. He played he played the Russian on Man from U.N.C.L.E. So Marius says one kind of looked like Dr. Elliot Reed from Scrubs. That very well could be. All right, so now we've got our administrators. Absolutely no clue. I guess I should point out, I don't tend to watch a ton of television. I know everybody says that, right? I don't watch TV. And they've got the television on for like 5 hours a night. But I'm not saying that I don't usually have something on, but it's documentaries or a movie. I actually just toss my iPad up in my bedroom while I'm working on stuff. So don't know that one either. There we go. Oh, look at it. It's Dr. Akula. Although, to be honest, I don't think Vincent Price ever played Dracula, did he? Did Vincent Price ever play a vampire? Well, that is funny. Dr. Akula. Pinchpenny. That's not ringing any bells. Skin Flint. This looks like the actor who was on Friday Night Lights. who played the coach. Another show I didn't watch. It's really weird. I tend to know things about like television shows and films that I've never seen, especially movies. Because I used to read movie reviews all the time back when people would read a newspaper. And I would read movie reviews for stuff I had absolutely no interest in seeing. And then years later, it'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. There you go, Coach Taylor. Now that looks familiar. Oh, Madman says Vincent Price played a vampire in the Monster Club. Really? Okay. I gotta be honest, I think I saw that movie once. I know I talked about it in relationship to a role-playing game, like a kids on bikes sort of game. But I don't remember. I remember very, very little about the Monster Club outside of the fact that Frankenstein helped the kids. Yeah, see, that rings a bell, but I don't know. Not really getting any vibes off of this one either. All right, so then we've got research. It's got all these different research cards, which are going to be broken up into different sections. So here, as an example, discard 1 red illness level 1 cube patient. Decrease 1 patient's illness level by green. Do not gain money. Because as you cure patients, you get paid. Kevin said that the last administrator looked like Mel from Alice. Yeah, a little bit. Did a little bit. All right, so we've got various different research cards. And then we've got the rooms. So you build these rooms, you have to pay for them, of course, and build them onto the hospital. And you can, if I remember correctly, remember, it's been years since I played the last version of this. You can actually transfer patients into these rooms from the wards so that you don't have like overcrowding in the wards. So we've got trauma, psychiatric. So you notice there's like plus. Oh, hold on. So there is a difference. So like the blood bank, standard blood bank, and then you can upgrade it to the blood bank plus. So here you see you have cubes for your blood supply. Got break room plus, canteen, cardiology. There's our emergency room, which this is where we can store patients. Wow, look at how many patients you can store with the upgraded one. Extended care facility, the freezer, where if I remember correctly with the freezer, you can actually put the dead in the freezers rather than putting them into the cemetery. Hallway, infectious disease, internal medicine, the morgue. That's where it is. It's the morgue, not the freezers. So as you could fit 2 in there. With the upgrade, you get 4. Then we got the pharmacy and trauma and psychiatric. And then here's the other tokens that are falling out. Flaming Aaron says you can get paid even if they're dead. No, if I remember correctly, like I said, things may have changed because like I said, they supposedly streamlined this game quite a bit. But you only got paid with healing patients. Oh, there we go. Autofocus is all over the place again. So we've got the cubes, we've got the drop bag, we have got the punch board, we have the game board, which I folded up and put in there. And we've got our staff training manual. And that's what we find when we take everything from Healthy Heart Hospital outside the box. Of course, I will have a review of Healthy Heart Hospital in the very near future. Should also mention the fine folks over at Tabletop Tycoon were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. It's important you know that. So once again, I will have a review of Healthy Heart Hospital in the near future. This was an easy one to get to the table with the gang when I reviewed the Victory Point Games edition of it. Should also mention a bunch of baggies were in that as well for all the various different tokens. Okie doke. So what's cooking the rest of the week? Well, we only have one show for the rest of the week, but I'll tell you what's cooking early next week. So on tomorrow's show, I will be diving on in for a first look into the Star Shaman's Song of Planegea. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is from Atlas Games. This is for 5e, and this is a pretty big book. So we're going to be diving on in for a first look at this. This is supposed to be kind of like a prehistoric setting, which utilizes the 5e mechanics. So that'll be on tomorrow's show. Then next Tuesday, we'll be diving on into Broncolonia, The Empire Whacks Back from Acheron Games. Of course, once again, they are in the midst of a Kickstarter to fund a trio of new volumes in the Broncolonia series. I shared a news piece about that last night. I also recently shared a video telling you why I feel you should play Broncolonia. And then a week from tonight, we are going to take a look at Lawyer Up Season 1 from Rock Manor Games. As you saw last night, they sent me a trio of games. You voted, and you voted to take a look at this first. So that will be a week from tonight. If you missed it, by all means, check out my review of the alpha release for Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press. You might be surprised by my review score and what I had to say about this alpha release of their, what's going to be Kobold Press's flagship fantasy role-playing game. That is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my first look at Hardworld Kingdom of Azadmir, which will go live later on this evening. Remember, I promised I would get this first look out there, because I think there's right now 6 days left to the Kickstarter. So that will be up later on tonight. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much for taking part. If you were in chat with us, tip of the cap, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company while I'm doing an unboxing. But of course, I also know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really do appreciate you taking time out to watch any of the videos. here on the Gaming Gang channel. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, here's hoping you always get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Forgot to hit that, huh? Okay, well, there you go. Don't forget, ding that bell.